Hey guys, it's Aria from MMOs.com doing a quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements beginning July 16th, 2018. This is episode number 156 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from Capcom regarding Monster Hunter World, and it's the news that a lot of us have been waiting for. Monster Hunter World is finally launching on the PC on August 9th, and it'll be available on Steam. Pre-purchasing is already available for $60, with the deluxe edition available for $70. While I never played the console version of Monster Hunter World, I'll probably check out the PC version. Monster Hunter World is a big deal because it's Capcom's best-selling game ever, and has received pretty strong praise on the PS4. Hopefully they did a good job on the PC port, but we'll have to wait and find out. Next up, speaking of release dates, Legends of Aria launched the closed beta 2 testing this last week and did so with a massive graphical overhaul. If you've never heard of Legends of Aria, it's a sandbox MMORPG inspired by oldies like RuneScape and Ultima Online. Closed beta 2 features bug fixes, optimizations, new tameable animals, faster travel, combat changes, and more. The folks behind Legends of Aria also updated their roadmap, showing that they're now aiming for open beta sometime in August, with a Steam Early Access release in the fall. Just a heads up though, this one will be buy to play. Up next, also in beta news, Alliance of Valiant Arms isn't quite dead yet. It's relaunching as AvA Dog Tag and will be running its first alpha test on July 18th. This one has quite a bit of a history. It was one of the oldest and longest running free-to-play Korean lobby shooters in the West. It was first available through EG, then moved to Aria Games, and then moved to Inmass, and is now finally being self-published by the developer Red Duck. The Inmass version shut down on June 29th, and with the alpha launching on July 18th, it's not going to be shutting down. It won't be gone too long. I do remember having a lot of fun with this one back when it was on EG, but to be honest, there are way better free-to-play shooters out there now. Black Squad, for example, on Steam is actually really solid. Next up, we have yet another release date. Dead Frontier 2 begin early access on Steam on August 31st. It's a free-to-play zombie survival game with MMO elements. The core gameplay looks a lot like a very typical survival game, but you need to scavenge for resources, conserve ammo, and fight off zombies. But what makes it unique is its MMO elements. Trading with other players and PvP elements should spice things up quite a bit. The game's developer also said they have a, quote, ethical free-to-play system with zero pay-to-win elements. Money will not buy any gameplay advantage and only cosmetics. Now keep in mind, that's something very easy to say. We'll see if they live up to that promise or not, though. But a free-to-play zombie survival game sounds pretty fun. Right along, a small bit of news for Star Trek Online. The game's Victory is Life expansion is launching on the Xbox One and PS4 on July 24th. The latest expansion has been available on the PC since June 5th, but is finally making its way over to consoles. And as with the PC version, Victory is Life centers around the events and characters of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and features voice actors from the TV series. It's actually my favorite of the Star Trek series. Star Trek Online launched back in 2010 and is still fairly popular. The game's PC version averages 1,580 players online at any given time, but we don't have any numbers for the console version, unfortunately. A bit lame though, the console version has to wait over a month after the PC version, but that's been the way for practically every PC game that launches on consoles. PC gets it first, and the console gets it a month or so later. Up next, Rift launched patch 4.5 this last week, and with it comes a whole lot of balance changes along with bug fixes. Practically every class in the game got some big balance changes. Interestingly, despite this being a big update, it didn't include any new content. Trion seems to be focused on fixing existing issues before introducing new content to the game, which is exactly what they said they'd do in their last developer letter. Also, on Rift's progression servers called Rift Prime, they'll be adding the River of Souls raid relatively soon, but there is no release date for that just yet. Next up, a small update for Elsword from COG Games. They added 2 new dungeons to the game called Labyrinth of Ruin and the Guardian Forest, both of which are located in the game's Demon Realm. This is an oldie, but it's still decently popular. It only averages about 360 or so players on Steam, but most of the players are off Steam. Like Kritika and Soulworker, it is an instance dungeon persistent town style action MMORPG. And speaking of Kritika, Inmass launched an update this week which adds the game's second round of class awakenings. The Assassin, Catspaw, Wolf Guardian, Scion, and Vamp all received their awakenings this week, along with new danger zones, new pet gems, and some big PvE and PvP skill rebalances. Kritika isn't doing nearly as well on Steam as a game like Soulworker, for example, as it only averages about 255 players online at any given time, but again, this is just the game's Steam version. Like Elsword, it's an instance dungeon persistent town style action MMORPG. Next, Old School RuneScape had a pretty crazy bug this last week that resulted in Jagex's first ever rollback. So what happened was the game's most recent update made it so people killed in PvP dropped any stackable item at maximum quantity. So killing someone carrying gold, for example, made so they carried the max amount of gold possible, which is over 2 billion gold, which would obviously destroy the game's economy. To address the issue, Jagex had to load a previous save state of the game, so everyone lost progress they made since the patch rolled out. It was the first ever rollback done by Jagex and was the only way to remove the bugged gold and items from the game. Pretty impressive that a game that's old as RuneScape only had to do one rollback in its entire history. Next up, some data came out for Arena of Valor this week. The mobile MOBA from Tencent hit 1 million downloads in the US, which is a far cry from the game's crazy success in China. So since their beta launched in December of 2017, they only made about $3 million, which certainly is a good chunk of change, but a disappointment for Tencent as the game is hugely successful in China. In fact, it's probably the world's most successful game, if not the second. Last year, Bloomberg reported that they made over $400 million in a single month, which is more than Fortnite's record $300 million in the month of May. Arena of Valor's fortunes might change in the Western market soon though, as they're launching on Nintendo Switch relatively soon, and they're hosting a big tournament later this month. Next up, also in mobile game news, Star Ocean Anamnesis from Square Enix officially launched on mobile devices this last week in the Western market. It's been available in, I believe, Japan for over a year or two now, but it's finally available in English. And from the looks of it, it's yet another hero collector, so it'll probably be playing a lot like Fate Grand Order. I haven't played it yet myself, but I do like Star Ocean, so I'll probably give it a try. Given how successful these mobile games are, I expect more and more mobile games coming from all the big studios. Square Enix has been really churning them out lately, and they seem to be working, so we'll get a lot more. The next and last bit of news is from Rainbow Six Siege. The fight against internet toxicity reaches new heights. Ubisoft is now automatically, instantly banning players for typing out any racial slur or any words they deem offensive. So dropping a single N-bomb, or the 3-letter word for the bundle of sticks, for example, results in an instant ban and automatic ban. The first time offenders will get about a 27-minute ban, second time is 2 hours, and third time can be a permanent ban. While I don't engage in too much toxicity myself, I do find it a bit ridiculous that they're banning automatically for this. After all, any player can just mute each other if they feel offended. Time will tell if this proves effective or not, but I think it's just going to piss people off quite a bit more. But we'll talk quite a bit more about that in tomorrow's podcast. And yeah, I'll see you guys some more for the podcast. That's it for MMO News this week. Later, guys.